Greetings, and this is Coach Charlene, and welcome to When the Moment Chooses You. Happy New Year, first of all. I am so grateful that I get an opportunity to send my voice waves over the podcasting system, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. We made it. We made it to 2024. What a great opportunity to become the highest expression of ourselves. So, I wanted to just kick off the podcast this year. Of course, I'm going to have compassionate, courageous conversations. I'm going to keep creating and inspiring destiny moments because I believe that every heartbeat matters. And so you'll be hearing from different trailblazers and change agents throughout the year that dare to dream, that dare to disrupt systems, that dare to do those things that's in their heart to do. So I'm excited for what we are going to experience together. If you want to be a guest on When the Moment Chooses You, if you feel like you have a compelling story that would fit with this particular podcast, hey, why don't you drop me a message and let's conversate and see can we get you on the show. Now, I thought I would do a solo episode just to kick off the year. Last December, which was a couple weeks ago, I recorded a message about when your heart speaks, and that is really the theme for me for this year thus far about heart alignment. And so I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I got a lot of responses and a lot of comments regarding that session, and so I'm gonna continue in that vein, but a little bit differently because, whenever we start a new year, um, people start looking at what they did, what they didn't do, the wins that they had, the losses that um, they had, and you start kind of measuring yourself. You measure yourself on your accomplishments, your accolades, your achievements as a measure of how you really did for the new year. But I want to kind of take it a little bit deeper, on a deeper level, just for this podcast. I'm celebrating all of the wins, celebrating all of the things that I did, but as I got quiet and I start listening to the whispers of the heart, I start hearing questions that I had to actually take some time to write down and see how did I fare on these particular heart questions. So I would like to share those questions with you just so you can do a little deep dive on yourself. I don't know about you, but I am forever learning. I am always looking for opportunities of how I can become the highest expression of myself or the best version of me or whatever you want to call it. But I'm talking about being better than I was yesterday. That's my goal. Every day I want to get better. I want to get better, so I'm very satisfied with who I am. So look, don't get me wrong. So you want to make sure that you hear this in the spirit that is said, because sometimes when people think, well, I'm getting better, it's more work. And that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going deeper. I'm talking about heart alignment. I'm talking about being able to listen to the whispers of your heart as you navigate through your journey. And so let me talk to you about some of the questions that I began to start settling in on. I did amazing things in 2023. I mean, amazing things that I'm so thankful for and had an opportunity to be a part of. But then I went a little bit deeper. And so one of the questions that kind of emerged was, how did my heart do this year? Because of that wonderful quote that I found that I told you all about, that you don't die when your heart stops beating, you die when your heartbeats have no meaning. I began to start ask myself the question of, how did my heart do this year? What did I do with my heartbeats? Was I intentional? Was I deliberate? Was I on purpose? See, those are the kind of questions that I start asking myself, not necessarily what I achieved, but what did I invest my heartbeats on? Did I waste time, the time that I can't get back? Did I love fully? Did I lend someone a helping hand? Did I show grace to someone that really needed grace at that moment? Did I sacrifice myself and give up my right to be right, even though I might have been right? Did I do that? Did I touch someone that was in need? Did I lend a listening ear to someone that was suffering? Did I love when I didn't feel like loving? I'm talking about those deeper questions of the heart that really um, touches into our humanity. Did I love when I didn't feel like it? That's a big one. So that's why I'm repeating that one. Did I love when I did not feel like it? Did I love the unlovable? Did I help another person to grow or to advance? Did I pull someone up from somewhere that was struggling, maybe stuck, maybe stagnant? Did I make a difference in someone else's life? Or did I just like totally forget about other folks and I did me despite what it would do to the other person? So those are the kind of questions that I've been like, grappling with and meditating on. Um, did I surrender so that I can help another person out? Did I do what was right versus what was easy? Those are the questions of the heart that help us form our character. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Now, I'm not going to stay here. I just threw those questions out there so that you can begin to start pondering, as you continue on in your wonderful journey. Make sure that you're in that heart alignment. This aim right here of this conversation is to make sure that you're looking beyond the stuff, the metrics, to the lives that you're touching every day. Every day you stand face to face with another human being, you have an opportunity to share your heart with them. Now, I'm not talking about being all mushy mushy, that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about your true essence of who you are, looking beyond the eyes into the soul of that particular individual. And so I am loving going deep in these questions like that. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. But I wanted to kind of tell you why I believe that this is so important. It's very wonderful to advance and to make sure that you're leveling up and you're doing all of the things that make you feel amazing, that make others feel amazing. But when we talk about heart alignment in your assignment, it's so important for you to get in alignment so that you can keep doing the wonderful things that you're doing and to keep touching lives like you're touching lives. I want to share a story which um, happened a few years ago, but it kind of speaks to what I'm talking about when you listen to your heart and when you make a difference. When your heart is aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, like for your life's purpose, then you impact those people that are drawn to you. So let me give you an example. I'm going to share a story with you that um, I didn't understand at the time, but now I know how important it is for you to be obedient and do the things that you believe that God has put in your heart to do. And so a few years ago, um, this was like several years ago, but I'll never forget this story because of the impact that it had. And when Facebook Live first came out, it was like a long time ago. I can't even remember, maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago, probably more than that. But I had just started, I was already doing videos. So I would do a video and I would post it on Facebook and, let others see it on my personal page. And it was this assignment that I know that God, my manufacturer, told me to do. But then Facebook Live came. And so this technology allowed you to actually be talking to everybody in your network live, um, you know, for whatever it is that you wanted to say. And so I heard God's voice. I heard the whisper of my heart say, I want you to start doing these live videos. I want you to start inspiring people. I want you to start encouraging people. And so I was obedient. I was not obedient at first. I actually was like, okay, like you want me to like sit the camera there and then just start talking to like the camera? And I was like, okay. And I had to fight through that because that to me was like, this doesn't really make sense. But I did it. I fought through it and I did it. And I think within about a month of me doing that, I was doing a message. Actually, the way that it started, I was having a conversation with my daughter because she was really struggling at this job that she was at. I mean, it was absolutely no fulfillment for her. It was drudgery going to work. I mean, she was like totally getting depressed just being there at that job in that particular environment. And so, as we were talking, as I was trying to encourage her, I was talking about, about the job and job versus work. And these words came out of my mouth. I said, your job does not match your makeup. And so, matching your makeup, that word, that phrase resonated in me so much, and it stayed with me after our conversation. So, I knew that I was going to get on Facebook Live and just share it. And so, I got on there. Not really knowing what I was going to say. I just felt the burning in my heart. And then I just start releasing the words about what matching your makeup does and all of the stuff around it. I think I still have that. And it's a really awesome message because I have to look back at it myself to be inspired, to be encouraged when I'm going through a rocky time. And so, matching your makeup. So, all of a sudden, like five, maybe not even 5 minutes, to a couple minutes into the session, that I was doing on Facebook Live, I started getting these messages and I kept seeing them like coming in, bing, bing, coming in. And I don't normally answer the messenger, especially back then, because, it was new technology. I didn't know how to use it. I don't have time to go through messages and things like that. But after I finished, because the person put comments in as I was doing the live, because with live, you can have conversations with your guests or your listeners. And so I did that. She afterwards I just start reading the messages and I was like, oh my God, wow. I mean, it was really a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt, a lot of grief, a lot of all of those emotions, and I can feel it as I read it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know this person. And but so I did. I consulted with my husband and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he is like, if God's leading you to do that, then just do that. And I did. I reached back out and I began to start talking to this individual and invited her to go to a workshop in Los Angeles to meet me there for something. And then we actually start developing a relationship. And this is the critical part right here. As I was doing my Facebook Live, she was surrounded by darkness in her room, ready to take her life, ready to be gone from this earth, from her family. But those words that I said on that Facebook Live, matching your makeup and not allowing other people's expectation to drive you, really touched the core of her being. It touched her heart in such a way that it triggered action for her to reach out and see if she can connect with me, find out, what's going on with her. I'm telling you, it was absolutely amazing. That is one of my stories that I knew that I was right on course. I was on the right track because, sometimes when you're doing things, you're like, okay, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? But that was confirmation that that was a life that was in jeopardy. But my obedience to doing what I didn't really feel like doing really caused her to still be here today, thriving, passionate, a huge support to me, a blessing in my life now. And so, why did I tell you that story? I told you that story because you never know what your assignment, your heart alignment is going to do in another human being's life. I did not know her necessarily. I think I had saw her somewhere before, but I didn't really know her. And so for her to have the courage to reach out because she was drowning was amazing. That was the first step to her breakthrough. And she literally is an amazing person right now. And very thankful for her reaching out when she did. And very thankful now she's still here on earth to be able to enjoy her grandkids and, all of the other things. So you never know when you are going to be the one that makes a difference in someone else's life. And so that's why I wanted to share that story with you. Whatever it is in your heart that you really feel like you want to do, I'm just encouraging you in 2024, go ahead and take the risk. Step out and do it anyway. A lot of people don't want to do it because they don't want to fail. They don't want to look foolish. Don't want to, they just have this fear about not doing it. But I'm telling you, I talked about regret on the last podcast. If you didn't listen to it, make sure you go back because you don't want to get to the end of your life and then you regret that you didn't listen to the whispers of your heart, that you didn't jump out and do those things that were in your heart to do. One of the biggest things that helped me out, even when it comes to past, like the questions that I gave you up here, there was tons of them. And even if you felt a little like, oh my gosh, man, I really didn't do a lot of that, I want you to be encouraged by the statement. Don't hold on to your history at the expense of your destiny, at the expense of your tomorrow. The history, the past is the past. We learn from the past. I grow from the past, but I do not hold on to the past because the past will eclipse my future. It will eclipse every great thing that you're doing. If you're stuck in the past and unforgiveness, that is going to hold you captive until you let that thing go. And so, very, very important for us to try with everything that's within us to not to stay so stuck in our past, because you can't move forward if you're stuck in your past. If you're like, for instance, if it's somebody that really did you wrong and you're like, just I'm just done with you, hey, go back to your heart. I'm telling you, I have been in some situations that I have had to love the unlovable, and I had to release forgiveness because when you think about forgiveness in particular, I had a vision of a heart locked inside of prison bars. And that vision came because when you have unforgiveness in your heart cannot fully love. It cannot fully express what it wants to express because you are confined with that. Your heart is locked up in a box. So to be able to fully love the unlovable, to be able to fully surrender and give up your right to be right sometimes, even when you are right, is so hard to do if your heart is not whole and healed and ready to freely flow. And so that is my message for you today. Whatever you can get out of that, I want you to walk in your heart alignment. So I'm going to leave you with three little gems that I love to leave. And the first one is going to be, I want you to have a journey of obedience. You know the whispers of your heart. You know what you're supposed to be doing a lot of times if you get quiet enough to listen. And remember, I had said that some people don't get quiet, they like noise so that they can't hear the whispers of their heart because they don't really want to do what their heart is telling them to do. But I want you to be true to yourself, your unique self, not trying to copy anybody, not competing with anybody. Just my main competition right now is with myself. I'm competing with myself because I want to love greater than I loved yesterday. I want to forgive faster than I forgave yesterday. I want to surrender deeper than I did the yesterday. So that's the type of things that I'm talking about when you're being true to yourself. I want to be all that I'm designed and destined to be. And so I want to break off all of the limitations, all of the self sabotaging thoughts, and all of the negative words that's been spoken over my life. I pull all of that away, and I want to be true to the brilliant diamond that I truly am. And you can only do that by working on yourself. Please fall in love with yourself again. Start off the year falling in love with you. If there's something about you that you do not like, start working on that thing. You're not doing it for anybody else, you're doing it for you. You have to love you. You have to put your oxygen mask on so that you can impact other people if that's what you're called to do. If you're just called to just do you and love you, then just do that. And what I'm saying by that is loving you is so critical for you to have a loving relationship outside of yourself. And so be true to yourself, be true to your heart assignment. If you're struggling in that particular area and you're feeling like my daughter was feeling, just broken and just depressed, and everything in the environment that she was in, it was toxic. And she just was, it was hard to thrive in that particular environment. You don't have to stay where you're being suffocated. You don't have to stay where you're having to even you just take medication just to be able to stay there. You are not called to do that. There's so much more that you can do. So be true to yourself. You're important. You make a difference. There's somebody that needs what you have on the inside of you. And enjoy the journey as you grow. You get so anxious when it's like, oh my gosh, I got to do this. You got like your whole future planned out, which is great. It's good to have a vision. It's good to have short term, long term goals, but enjoy the journey, even the ups and the downs. Enjoy the journey so that you can really find out, unpack those wisdom gems in the journey. If is a down, when it's up, enjoy that. Just enjoy the journey. Every heartbeat that you have matters. And so enjoy the journey as you're going. You're going to get there. Just enjoy the journey. And then the last one is, don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to change. Change is critical if you're going to be a better version, the highest expression of yourself. It's okay for you to say, you know what, you need to fix your attitude, Charlene. You have to talk to yourself like that. A lot of times what flaws that you have that you want to perfect. You have to be bold enough to confront yourself so that you can be that authentic person that you know that you were destined to be. So I hope you enjoyed these few little nuggets that I gave you for 2024. I'm excited about the new year. I have some wonderful guests coming up next week, and I'm super excited about what is going to happen for 2024. So I encourage you and I inspire you to make sure that when your heart speaks, that you begin to listen to the whispers of your heart, and you begin to walk in that heart alignment, because there is someone out there that needs what you have on the inside of you. There is someone out there waiting for you so that you can make a difference in their lives. I don't know whether it's a product, whether it's a book, whether it's another podcast episode, whether it's a workshop, whether it's whatever innovation it is. There's somebody that is calling you to step into all of the greatness that you have on the inside of you. So thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And hey, let me hear some of the things that you're going to be doing for 2024 in the comments. I would love to engage with you. If you can share it, I would love to hear some of it. Okay. And what will you do when your moment chooses you? I hope you'll be able to say yes and to launch deeply into that moment. Thank you so much for listening.